I caught a fish. It was this big.
Hey everybody, it's Glenn, back in this video with Machine Man. Yep, a new year means new Marvel Legends. Firstly in the form of the Avengers Infinite series, the Allfather Build-A-Figure wave. The Build-A-Figure Odin aside, in the wave Machine Man represents the only character debut in Legends form. Not that some of these characters didn't need a redo, Scarlet Witch especially, but I'm always one to get behind the B to C to Z list characters being brought to life in plastic for the first time. And when this figure was revealed at SDCC this previous year, the obscurity of the character was epitomised in a comment on Facebook which read, "Who's Purple Guy?" Well, in case you're still asking that very question, Machine Man is an android superhero who surprisingly first appeared in Marvel's comic book adaptation of 2001 A Space Odyssey. Open the pod bay doors, Machine Man. Open the goddamn pod bay doors, Machine Man. Nah. As the adaptation became an ongoing series of original stories, and when that came to an end, he was folded into the main Marvel universe. He may be best known for some guest appearances in the Avengers comic. Yet he has been subject to a number of his own series over the years, and if you want to invest a bit more in the character, I'd recommend his 4-issue limited series from the mid-80s. It's set in the future of 2020, and is where Iron Man 2020 first appeared, a future cousin of Tony Stark, who you may also be familiar with from the Marvel Universe and Superhero Squad figure he has received. Even if you're not particularly familiar with the character, then I'm sure if you've paid attention to Marvel Legends these past few years, then you'll no doubt recognise the Bucky Cap body. And furthermore, if you're a collector like myself, you no doubt already own a few Carnage, Boomerang, Black Panther, Angel, Archangel, Cyclops, to count some among my collection. Not that I'm complaining about the reuse, as it represents a dynamic sculpt with a suitable comic book muscularity. The appearance is certainly a classic Machine Man, whereas his modern appearance has seen him don a trench coat and generally become more human looking. Taking a closer look, and the face sculpt has a stern expression, with his android state being portrayed by his eyes, or more appropriately,
Multispectral optical imaging devices.
Then in place of his ears, we also get the sculpted detail of his
acoustic analyzers.
He does come with a bath part and these interchangeable arm accessories. His hands can be swapped out for these extended ones in the vein of Inspector Gadget. Plus the clenched fist can be removed and swapped out for his other hands, which are sculpted to be posed with accessories you may have from other figures. Then these two arms can also be attached to make an even longer one for when Machine Man is too lazy to walk across the room to punch a foe in the face. Surprisingly, they have bendy wire in them, and I say surprisingly as a few years back when we complained that Constrictor never got bendy wires in his tendrils, Hasbro made out that had they done that, the cost would result in them having to file for bankruptcy. Which plays into a feeling I have that these last few years toy companies have created that tone of bravely soldiering up the hill of increasing financial deficit, which has beat collectors into a feeling of gratitude for the smallest graces. I mean, essentially, I've bought a repaint of a figure Hasbro budgeted for years back, so giving us the accessories is the least they could do. In fact, they could do even more. Extensions for his legs and a saw blade and gun arms, as we've seen him use in the comics. Now looking at the articulation, and his head rotates and moves this far forward and this far back. Rotation at the shoulder and the arm moves up this far. Upper arm rotation and a double jointed elbow. Rotation at the wrist and the hands are hinged, moving down and up. He has an ab crunch which moves this far forward and this far back. Rotation at the waist, and his belt is a separate piece which needs to be moved to achieve the full waist rotation, but when in a neutral pose can be positioned to hide the waist cut. At the hips, the legs move out to the side this much, this far forward but not so far back. Upper leg swivel and double jointed knees. lower leg rotation. At the ankles, his feet are hinge moving backwards and forwards, plus have an ankle rocker pivot, with this being the figure's widest stance possible, still with both feet flat on the floor. I have a feeling poor Machine Man here will get lost in the rush to pick up the more prominent characters in this wave, and while I'm yet to have most of the wave in hand, my backing of the underdog has made him an early favourite in my mind, and his interchangeable arms lend a fun factor that you don't get with many a legend. Anyway, click the video on the right to see my haul of goodies I scored while on my Canadian vacation. As ever, I sure would appreciate it if you could give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more, including a review of the Iron Fist from this series, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.